Commander Jarak of the Velothian Empire had conquered 47 worlds. He had seen species that breathed methane, creatures that lived in the vacuum of space, and warriors whose exoskeletons could deflect plasma fire. But he had never seen anything like the human woman who stood before him now. She was small by galactic standards, barely reaching his chest plates. Her skin was pale, marked with scars that told stories of survival. Her armor was primitive, cobbled together from salvaged materials and held together with what appeared to be chemical adhesives. Yet her eyes, those strange binocular eyes that humans possessed, burned with something that made Jarak's combat implants flash warning signals. The battle had been brief. Her ship, a rusted human freighter that had no business being in the contested zones, had been disabled by his cruiser's electromagnetic pulse. His boarding party had expected an easy capture, perhaps slaves to sell or at worst a quick execution. What they found instead was a one-woman war. She had killed 7 of his best warriors before they managed to stun her. Even unconscious, her hand had remained locked around her weapon, a primitive blade she called a sword. It was an absurd thing, made of folded metal with no power source, no plasma edge, no molecular disruptor field, just sharpened steel. Now she sat in his command chamber, bound by energy restraints that could hold a Krath battle beast. Her sword lay on the table between them, the only thing they had managed to pry from her grip. "You fought well," Jarak said in Standard Galactic, which his translator assured him she could understand. For a human. "But your war is over. Your kind does not belong in the contested zones." The woman said nothing. She simply stared at him with those unnerving eyes. Jarak had interrogated thousands of prisoners. He knew the signs of broken will, of fear, of the moment when a being accepted its fate. He saw none of those things in her face. Instead, he saw patience, as if she were waiting for something. It unsettled him more than he cared to admit. "Your weapon," he said, gesturing to the sword. "It is crude, inefficient. Why do humans still carry such things when you have access to energy weapons?" For the first time, she spoke. Her voice was rough, as if unused to speaking. "You wouldn't understand. Try me." A ghost of a smile touched her lips. It was my daughter's. Jarak's translator took a moment to process the statement, cross-referencing human familial structures. Daughter, offspring. The understanding clicked into place, and with it a flicker of something he rarely felt. Empathy. "She is dead?" 3 years ago, Velothian raiders hit our colony, Aurora Station. She was 12. The woman's voice remained flat, emotionless, but her eyes, Jarak's implants screamed danger warnings. She was learning to fence. Old Earth tradition. This was her practice sword. Not even real combat grade, just folded steel in a girl's dreams. The command chamber had gone silent. His crew members, normally chattering through their communication feeds, had stopped. They were listening. "So you hunt us," Jarak said. "Revenge." "No." The woman leaned forward, and the energy restraints crackled against her movement. She shouldn't have been able to move at all. "Justice. There's a difference." Jarak stood, walking to the observation port where the stars streaked past in faster-than-light travel. He had seen many species seek vengeance. The Krath, who would hunt their enemies across galaxies. The silicate collectives, who remembered every slight for millennia. But something about the human woman felt different. "You cannot win," he said. "One woman against the Empire." "I don't need to win," she replied. "I just need to make sure you remember us. Make sure you think twice before you hit another human colony. Make sure that when your raiders see a human ship, they wonder if it's me. If maybe today is the day they face Aurora's mother." A chill ran through Jarak's thermal core, an evolutionary response his species had developed to detect apex predators. He turned back to her. The war tribunals declared the Aurora incident an unfortunate casualty of expansion. Compensation was paid to Earth governance. Credits don't bring back little girls. Her restraints flickered. Jarak's technical officer made a confused sound. The energy field should have been stable. Neither do apologies. But fear works. Fear remembers. Something was wrong. Jarak could feel it in the way his crew had gone silent, in the way the air seemed to thicken. The sword on the table had begun to emanate heat. His sensors detected it first, a thermal signature that made no sense for inactive metal. "What is happening?" he demanded. The woman smiled fully now, and it was the most terrible thing Jarek had ever seen. You want to know why humans still carry swords, Commander? It's not about efficiency. It's about memory. About carrying the weight of what we've lost. About turning grief into something physical, something real. The restraint sparked and failed. She stood, and somehow she seemed larger than before, as if her presence expanded to fill the chamber. She walked to the table, reached for the sword. Let me show you what human rage looks like. Jarek moved without thinking, his combat training taking over. He grabbed the sword first, intending to throw it aside to call his guards to. The blade seared into his hand with pain beyond anything his nervous system could process. It wasn't just heat. It was something primal, something his sensors couldn't measure. The metal had become something else, something that rejected his touch at a cellular level. He screamed and dropped it, backing away as medical alerts flooded his implants. The woman caught the sword as it fell. The moment her fingers wrapped around the hilt, the weapon changed. It didn't glow. It didn't hum. It simply became more real. As if the universe had decided that in this moment, this primitive blade mattered more than plasma rifles, more than antimatter warheads, more than all the terrible weapons of the Empire. You see, Commander, she said softly, humans don't just remember the dead. We carry them with us. We make them part of everything we do. This sword isn't just metal. It's every bedtime story I told her, every scraped knee I bandaged, every dream she had that your empire burned away. The door burst open and 4 of Jarek's elite guards rushed in, weapons raised. They saw the woman, saw the blade in her hand, saw something in her stance that made their combat instincts scream. They dropped their weapons and ran. Jarek watched them go, shame burning through him almost as hot as the wound on his hand. His warriors, his elite, fleeing from one small human woman, but he understood. In that moment, standing before Aurora's mother, he finally understood what made humans so dangerous. It wasn't their technology or their numbers. It was this, the ability to transform loss into purpose, grief into will, love into something that could burn. I will remember, he said quietly. Aurora Station. I will remember. The woman nodded once, then moving faster than his implants could track, she was past him out the door, gone into the corridors of his ship. Alarms blared. His crew scattered before her like leaves before a storm. Jarek didn't order pursuit. He simply stood there cradling his burned hand and knew that the Empire had made a terrible mistake. Humans didn't conquer with superior weapons. They conquered with superior memory, and Aurora's mother had just taught them all to remember.